Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is another amazing show. We're going to be talking about all kinds of crazy, cool stuff when it comes to real estate life. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a different show. We're going to be doing a very, very short episode. I'm going to be two of these back to back. So, those who are watching live, please bear with me. But we're going to be talking about today something very interesting in my life that I experienced in regards to just interacting with other human beings in the real estate industry, and just kind of how that is, let's say, a challenge at different times. So we're going to go over the 5 different ways that I've found that you can deal with difficult people in your business. But before we get there, here's our countdown. All right, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, everybody else out there, I am so excited to be back here. It is a beautiful Friday afternoon here in Northern California. I had an incredible experience earlier today with an individual on another system that I was doing some, basically, I was consulting on it a little bit, right? And this individual popped off on me pretty hardcore in regards to kind of how I was dealing with a scripting and role play scenario. And it really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is how consumers feel when we go at them and we try to use scripts on a consistent basis. We don't try to be humans, we try to be robots. So, for all of my incredible, beautiful, wonderful people that are listening to my voice right now and watching my incredible hat, not my face, my hat, I want you guys to think about this. When's the last time you took the scripting out of what you're doing on a consistent basis and you put humanity back into it, and you started actually being the human that you are on a consistent basis when you go to the store, when you walk down to the pool, when you walk the dog, you pet the goldfish, whatever it's going to be? When's the last time that you actually started doing that in your business? The individual I had a confrontation with, they were, let's say, less than receptive in regards to what I was trying to give them in regards to content. And so I did some research on it, and I was very interested in kind of see what the rest of the world thought, because I'm like, shoot, am I wrong on this or am I not? So here are 5 different ways to deal with difficult people at work or in your business. Number 1, think long term. You know what? We always underestimate what we can do in 10 years, but we overestimate what we can do in 2 months. The big thing is one of my good friends, James, the Zillow killer, he and I were talking, and his business coach told him, you know what? All the major corporations look at things in decades, not years. So it's like, how much can you accomplish in the next 10 years versus the next 10 months? Everyone goes, oh my God, I have 12-month goals, excuse me. What the flying fuck sticks are you going to do in 12 months? Well, I can change the world. All right, Skippy, knock yourself out on that one. But what if you slowly roll down a little bit? You become the tortoise, not the hare, and you actually start building processes, negotiation skills, and you build people who are you can negotiate with and network with. They can build your industry and your visibility. We never think about that. We just think about our next deal, our next deal, our next deal, our next deal, our next deal. So think long term. That's the number 1 thing in everything that you do. When I first got in the business, I don't know if I should say this on air, but I'm going to do it anyways. I used to write horrible comments about different individuals that I'd have conversations with through our database. And it could be coworkers, it could be anybody. I'm going to leave that open for your imagination. But the point of the story is this, is that my team members would go back and erase all of those things. And they'd come back to me and say, Greg, you can't say that. I'm like, but this person is a blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, we understand that, but you have to think long term because that person is going to need you or you're going to need them sometime down the road. So, number one rule, guys, as we go through this whole list, is think long term in regards to dealing with difficult folks. Number two, assess the situation. Assessing the situation, you really kind of have to read the room, right? Like, are you going to be a jerk? Are you going to be over aggressive? Are you going to be passive? Kind of what is the situation that you're going to be in? Are you going to be in multiple offer situations? Are you just trying to, like, get to know a top agent in the area? But you always have to assess the situation because a lot of us, we go after what is important to us, not what's important to our clients or important to our end goals. I've been caught up in it multiple times and I'm like, gosh dang it, this SOB, blah. And I would say something stupid, right? We've all done it. Trust me. And if any of you out there are saying you didn't do it, you're a fucking liar. And I love you, but you're still a fucking liar. So assess it, work through it. Do not take it personal and go from there. And that leads us into our third opportunity here and our third point. Don't always take it personally. I've done over 600,000 phone calls, over 2 to 300,000 door knocks. I mean, when it comes to rejection, I am literally a battling ram. I have gone through all the things that you guys are going through or are going to go through. So I'm here to help you guys if you want to talk about it. But the number one thing, if you ever seen a duck on top of a pond and they're paddling along, you know those little legs are going 1,000 miles an hour and they're underneath the water, but you don't see it. You don't see it, right? And the duck gets a big old rainstorm or another duck, dumps some water on it, and the duck, dips down, comes up, shakes it off, no water on it, keeps moving forward. That's not taking it personal. That's the definition of not taking it personal. When someone tells you to go F off, when someone tells you that they don't want your service, if someone tells you that you can go kick rocks until you die, it's not you. It's the opportunity you're presenting to them. So it, just laugh it off. I had a guy yesterday, or 2 days ago, excuse me. I was doing beers and calls, and there was a guy. I think it was a Hispanic gentleman, and he obviously was not in a good mood. And he's like, "Yo, fool! If you start getting crazy, I'm gonna get crazy. If you start popping off, I'm gonna start popping off." My response back to him was, well, sir, I appreciate that. I don't want to pop off. I just want to get your number and your address so I can take you off my list. Fool, I'm gonna fucking wreck your fucking head. I'm gonna come after your family. Fuck you. I'm like, okay, well, I understand where you're coming from. But can I just get your address so I can take you off the list? That's the definition of not taking it personally, guys and gals. It's that simple. So that is our third one. Do not take it personally. Look, everybody's got some bullshit they're dealing in life. Everybody, right? What's yours? When's the last time like someone rubbed you the wrong way and you yell at them? Well, that's exactly what they're doing to you right there. So just let it go, move forward, and you say, you know what? As my good friend, Mr. Jake Wolf would say, have a blessed and powerful day. And then they can't argue with that comment. So that's our third one. Now we have two more. Number 4, correct them. Now, correcting them is not saying that they're wrong. What I'm saying when I say correct them is exactly what I'm saying right now. Like you go in and you say, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we're at 123 Main Street. I understand you're having a rough day. My deepest apologies. I did not mean to step on your toes. I'm not. I'm here to get blank information. So you kind of put them back a little bit on their heels, not in a rude way. Always professional, always kind at all stops. Okay, but you also have to hold your own ground. Like I have a dog, which he's sleeping next to his ball right behind me right now. Um, but you know what? He is a very tolerant dog, and there's a point to the story. But when someone like he will let dogs climb all over him because he's focused on chasing his ball. Like us, when we're chasing a lead or a prospect or something like that, we're laser focused on that goal. But if some dog jumps on top of him and gets all, handsy with him, he'll be like, he won't bite, but he'll let him know what's up. Like, hey, you gotta, step back a few, right? And so when it comes to clients, there has to be that boundary, and you have to have that ability to walk away from that transaction. There was a client that was working with my father. My dad does not cuss, by the way. He does not cuss. I've heard him say the F word like I think 3 times in 40 plus years. So obviously he does not cuss. And this client of his was popping off on him. And he finally was just, it hit the breaking point, right? And he's like, pretty much, fuck you, motherfucker. And he just turned to this guy, and that was internally, I'm assuming. He turned to this guy and goes, hey, listen to me. You do not talk to me like that. Do you understand me? Otherwise, we're canceling this transaction right now, and I'm never working with you again. And the guy went silent because he stood his ground, right? A lot of us get run over like train tracks because we think, oh my gosh, well, if I don't let this client do whatever they want, then I'm not going to get business. But think about it back into a dating scenario. When you are dating, if you're dating or if you want to be dating again, doesn't matter where you stand. Think about this, or your kids are going to start dating. You want your daughter, you want your son to stand up for themselves. You have to do the same thing in business because they will run you over. When I first started in real estate, I told everybody, and this is a quote, you know what? Hey, if I don't pick up my phone's either dead or I'm asleep. If I'm not picking up, I will recharge it, or as soon as I wake up, I'll call you back. They took that to fucking heart, and I got railroaded. So I started standing up for myself, and I started correcting them. All right. So in a very professional, kind manner, correct folks if they are not aligned with your goals or where you want to be or how you're going to be treated in this industry. Correct them. Again, be professional. All right, let's get to our last one. All right, you have to live outside of work. Now, what in the blank does that mean? You have to live outside of work. I'll tell you one thing. Doing this for 23 years, and my father's been doing it for 65 years. I have watched him have his retinas detach from his eyeball twice because he was so stressed over work. He was trying so hard, and he did a great job providing for our family when I was growing up. But he didn't have that detachment in regards to living outside of work because a lot of us think that a lot of who our identity is what we do on a consistent basis, aka sell real estate. When in reality, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, you are your identity. You're a beautiful woman. You're a beautiful man. You're an incredible human being. You're a father. You're a mother. You're an aunt. You're an uncle. You're a grandma. You're a grandpa. You're single. It doesn't matter what the fuck you are, but you're amazing the way you stand. But we don't ever give ourselves credit for that because we're told that we have to have this certain persona in regards to sell real estate. Guys, anyone who's followed me for any amount of time knows to the fact that I sell multi-million-dollar homes wearing shorts, jeans, t-shirts, baseball hats. If you guys can see me right now, I'm wearing a hat that says Danville, California, that the city that I'm from. And I rock this stuff all over the place. And I get conversations, I get leads, I put YouTube videos out there, and I'm who I am. I showcase my dog, my cats, everything else. So step away from always having to be the perfect human being that society tells you have to be. Now, obviously, pay your taxes, be, a nice, good human being, be professional, all of that stuff. But also show your own flavor. Like a lot of you guys don't know, but I'm covered in tattoos. I got 7 tattoos. I'm planning on getting full sleeves. And now, why is that important? Because I'm taking everything I just told you, and I said, you have a life outside of work. My girlfriend and I love to drink good wine. We love to eat good food. We love to go around and travel before COVID and all that stuff. Now we actually can go do that again. But It's the things that make you stand out. The most powerful thing in humanity is freedom. And everybody thinks freedom is I have a Lambo, I have a big house, I have a Ferrari, I have a Porsche, I have, X, Y, and Z, fill in the blanks. Doesn't really fucking matter what it is. But you know who I'm talking about when I say this. Whoever that person is in your life. That's not freedom. That's called slavery because you're a slave to those different items. Why don't you go out there and be free with yourself? Go for a walk in the middle of the day. Do something different. Go get a cup of coffee or go get a martini or something. Your favorite restaurant with a great steak and just enjoy life. Or go to a brewery and make friends and see if you can do some networking there with them. Be who you are. And all of a sudden, guys, this is going to go from a business to like free time frolic. And you're going to have so much fun doing it because there's no constraints on you anymore. Handcuffs off. Go enjoy life. And you don't have to. And if someone's a shit talker, you can go kick them in the fucking balls. Now, I'm not inciting violence. I'm just saying figuratively, not physically. Go kick them in the nuts and tell them to go fuck themselves. Because you know what? If you're thinking long term, you're going to access your different situations. You're going to figure out kind of where you want to be. You're not going to allow it to be personal. And you're going to correct them again very kindly, and then you're going to start looking through life in a different prism. And you're going to say, I'm going to look through life outside of work. Who am I when I'm not a real estate agent, when I'm not a mom, when I'm not a dad, when I'm not this, when I'm not that? Where do I stand? How do I look? Like, do I put my pants on the same way? Should I go to the same restaurants? Should I go to the same coffee shops? What does that look like? Guys and gals, boys and girls, you are the master of your future. All you have to do is reach up and grab it. A good friend of mine, I'll leave you on this story. A good friend of mine, many, many years ago, he and I were at a bar and I bought him a beer. I hadn't seen him in like 10 years. And he and I are sitting down and we're talking. And he's like, Greg, I want to tell you something. I'm like, okay, what's up? He's like, I have to tell you, there are $100 bills flying over your head at any given point. All you have to do is learn out how to reach out and grab some of them. And I said, okay, so how's that look? He said, Greg, you just have to think outside the box. Do something that nobody else is doing. Have fun doing it and just put a smile on your face. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so stinking simple, but yet nobody does it, right? And if you guys just take that to heart, just that one little itty bitty teeny, tidbit right there, I think you'll have a lot more fun. So I'm going to wrap this up here, guys, right now. I went through my 5 points. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys in any way, shape, or form. I love you guys all to pieces. Thank you for all the comments. I can get back to each and every single one of you guys. Lauren, Paul, Joshua. Oh my gosh, there's so many different names, so I can't even name them all really quickly. But I appreciate you guys so much. Be blessed. Have a great holiday weekend. Have a wonderful Halloween. Go out there, eat some good candy, and hit me back in the comments and let me know how it goes. Until then, guys, boom, peace. I love you. Until then, peace out, ninjas. We gone.